friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And Zephyr and I are here today to talk to you about a book that I am just over the moon in love with. So this is a book I read recently, and I wasn't planning on talking about it actually for quite some time. I wanted to sit on it for a while and then talk about it a little bit later in maybe a month or two. But I just cannot contain my enthusiasm about this book, and I really am just too excited to hold off any longer, so I have to share it with you. And I'm really excited about it for a number of reasons, and I hope you will be too. So, the book I want to talk to you about is Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. Now, I know we talked about a lot of spooky books last month for spooky season, which is part of the reason why I didn't want to talk about this book today. I wanted to sit on it and wait a little while, talk about some other books, because we did just talk about some spooky books. But friends, I cannot. I have to share this book with you now because it's amazing. And we're going to just say that it's because Josh Malerman is a Michigan author and this book takes place in Michigan. Yeah, that's the reason we're going to go with for that. Yeah, that works. We're going to say that that's it. But it's really because I love this book and I cannot stop talking about it. So Josh Malerman, you may recognize that name. He is the author of Bird Box, among many other books. But Bird Box is probably his most famous book. It was turned into a movie or a TV series that had Sandra Bullock in it. I never saw the show or movie, but I love Bird Box. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I've read pretty much everything by Josh Malerman, so I was really hyped for this to come out. But I wasn't going to read it right away. When it came in, I was like, all right, I have to get to this. I'm excited about it. But I had other things I wanted to read, but then something changed my mind about it, and I picked it up almost immediately. So the thing that changed my mind was that there are a couple people, one of them actually is our library director. She started reading the book and could not finish it. It was too scary, she said, and she had to put it down. And then there was another person too who the same thing happened to. Started reading the book, couldn't finish it. It was too scary, overwhelmed her, put it down. So I was like, okay, now this is like challenge accepted, right? Like I have to read this book now and see what is going on. Is it really that scary? What is going on with this book? And friends, yes, this book is probably the scariest book that Josh Malerman has written, in my opinion. As much as I love Bird Box, I didn't think that was his scariest book. He has another really short horror book called The House at the Bottom of the Lake that I think was the scariest one until I read this. And I know what you're saying. I don't really like horror. I don't like to read spooky books, but you just have to listen to why this book is so incredible. First of all, it takes place in Michigan. Boom, right there. If you're a Michigan viewer right now and you are hearing that, you're like, oh, okay, I like to read books about Michigan. Boom, there you go, right there. Good enough reason, right? So this book is about a young girl named Bella. She is 8 years old, and the book is actually, the point of view throughout the whole book is from Bella. So Bella is the one telling the story. We're hearing this story, everything happening in her own voice, which is a very unique voice, okay? So Bella is 8 years old. She lives with her mother and her father, her dad, who she calls Daddo, and she's got a grandma Ruth. But she's been seeing this other entity around the house, who she calls the other mommy. Now, the other mommy started appearing in her closet, and then sort of like befriended her, and then got closer and closer with Bella until she started asking Bella, can I come inside your heart? And Bella doesn't really know what this means, but the other mommy sort of explains that it would be like they would switch places. Like other mommy would take over Bella, and Bella would then disappear or go back to where the other mommy came from, which is not explained where she comes from. So Bella says no. And this creature just will not let up. It keeps asking. It wants Bella. It wants Bella's life. So obviously this is not a new trope, right, for scary literature. Usually when you have a story about a young child either being haunted or a house being haunted, that's not new. But there is something that this book does that is very different from any other scary book that I've read that is sort of the same situation where there is a child that's being haunted, right? We'll just take it as a very generalized, a child is being a haunted theme, okay? So it is definitely the child that's haunted. Bella is haunted, not the house, because the parents take her and they try to go to a bunch of different places, and this entity is following them. It's definitely haunting Bella. So here's the thing that's really, really different and unique about this book. that I think is part of why it's so, so scary. So in a lot of times when there's books or movies and a child is being haunted, the adults in her life or his life don't believe them, right? It's always this thing that's like, oh, this kid's got an imagination, oh, you know, da da da. And then when they finally do start to believe him, it's way too late. The thing that this book does that I think is so unique and amazing is that is not the case at all. The parents believe Bella from pretty much right from the get-go. And not only do they believe her, but they see this creature. They see the other mommy too. Bella is not the only one that sees it. The mother like immediately sees this creature sitting on the end of her bed and freaks out. The parents are having this big party with a bunch of adults over, and another adult sees this creature out of the blue and starts screaming. And everywhere that they go, so they try to seek help in many different forms. They go to a friend's house. They think, all right, we got to get out of this house. It's the house. It's definitely the house. So they get out of the house. They go to their friend's house to stay over the night. And then those people start to get haunted by this creature, and they start to see her. They go visit the grandmother, and then the grandmother starts to see her. This creature is relentless, and nothing that anybody does seems to deter this creature, this other mommy, from trying to get to Bella. And as this book goes on, you just feel this dread and this fatigue that the family is holding in them because they cannot get rest. They cannot get any respite. Everywhere they go, this creature is there also. And it starts to pull apart the fray. Like it's starting to, their whole family life is starting to come apart. It's starting to fray apart. And I can't really say anything else about the story because I don't want to give anything away. But I think this is one of the scariest books I've ever read. I can 100% understand why some people would not be able to finish it because it is so, so, so scary. So I think if you are looking for a book that is a big, scary thriller, you have to pick this one up. Even if you're not normally a horror reader, I think you should try this one because I would be very curious to see if you can finish it or if you want to put it aside because it's, you know, it's too much for you or whatever. Or maybe you would read it and just be like, I've read scarier. It's not bothering me at all. I'm super curious to know what you think. But yeah, this book I have not been able to stop thinking about. It creeped me out so badly. I read it in 2 sittings. I could not put it down once I started. It was amazing. And I did have to sleep with the lights on in the living room for a couple days after I finished it. I won't lie. I did have to do that. So give this one a shot. Josh Malerman, he's absolutely amazing. This book is just fantastic and I highly recommend it. Incidents Around the House. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that you're really intrigued by this book. Even if this is not a genre that you normally gravitate towards, I think there's a lot of interesting things there for people to explore and enjoy and maybe scream over. So you can pick this book up at Farmington Community Library at either location. And thank you so very much for watching, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.